Just a hopefully quick video, just trying to keep my promise of bringing all the latest updates as they happen. So we seen in the game we got a message saying that version 73 is out now, along with the hero updates. I think it was a bit confusing because the hero update said it was live now, but they're not due to hit until the 16th of December. But let's just run through some of the fantastic new things we're getting as part of the version 73 update. So we can see first up we have some PvP rule changes. These changes will be applied separately after version 73 has been forced. The rule changes were tested in the first raid brawl will be applied to the following PvP. So we've got raids, raid tournaments, hero league, alliance, wars, and war of the three kingdoms. So I think obviously the big one there are the wars. We know there's a lot of people that have been getting frustrated with wars. Very hard to keep up, even though to me it's just you have your hits, you have your fun. But yeah, some people do get a little more frustrated than they possibly should. So as a reminder, the new rules are combo damage multiplier increased. So to me that probably helps a lot if you can make some big combos at the start of the battle. The mana adds up differently when you do larger combos, so the longer the combo goes, sort of the less mana the defense is getting for each tile that they're hit by. So it's a great way to try and get as many tiles going through without setting all the enemies off. So that's going to make your damage a little bit higher. We have earlier tiebreaker. So again, that's when the battle length was dropped to 10 minutes. It definitely made some of those battles very hard to get to the end without the extra damage that you get in raids and that type of thing. So yeah, 10 minutes for some of those ultra high minion and healing boosting teams is very difficult. So that's also a bonus. Troop damage against weaker elements increased. Effect is reduced when using multiple heroes of the same element. So that's going to help out, you know, if you sort of someone who color matches, whether it's mono 4-1 or even 3-2, but color matching against the enemy tank, that's going to help you take them out a little bit easier with tiles. I don't know the exact percentages and that type of thing, but obviously any help that makes it a little bit easier is great. Could be the difference, you know, even if you say take 4-1 or a mono, if you get 3 or 4 tiles into that tank, it could be the slight difference of killing the tank as opposed to having it, you know, 100 health left and getting a heal off. So also a pretty good change there. Critical chance for all troop attacks. So critical chance for all troop attacks. Critical troop hits reduce max health. So that's a big change there. That's really going to help against anyone that has boosted health, and obviously just, yeah, helping to take them down, and slightly adjusted general balance of attacker versus defender. I would love if they gave a bit of extra information on that because it's very vague. There's never really been, to my knowledge, like sort of a clear indication of the difference between attacker and defender. I've always felt that the revives and the dodges happen more for the defense team. I don't know if that's ever been confirmed anywhere, but just in general play, like I've had some defenders, and it's not just once or twice here and there, like I know how odds work, but you know, when you're talking about say a 30% chance of revival or whatever it may be, and it happens 10 times in a row, on offense, I don't think I've ever had a hero revive more than maybe 3 times. So yeah, and it just seems to be a very obvious thing that happens more. So anyway, all in all, to me, that is a fantastic change. I personally don't get too frustrated. Well, I can in the moment, but I don't see the point in opting out of wars. You know, at worst, I would just take mono teams and have a bit of fun. If you get a good board, you get some kills, and if you don't, then you're still helping out the alliance, taking some cleans if that's what your roster is capable of. and hopefully gets more people involved back in war. The loot is better now, so that will just be better for everyone. More involvement, getting better loot, and therefore a chance to get your heroes up to speed better. So fantastic news with that first part. Next up, we have the Alliance Quest 1 costumes. So new costumes for Cornell, Quinton, Rain, Wolfgang, and Ferrant. Now, it's not surprising that those heroes are also getting a buff in the December balance update. So yes, we couldn't just get an update with some improved heroes without the lure of then pulling it for the costume. But anyway, we know that's how it rolls. So moving on, we have Astral Dwarves. So new dwarf heroes arrive from the Astral Plane. Heroes are Salnus, Megwin, Pluth, Quadri, and Vard. So it'll be interesting to see those when they come out. We've already got beta versions, and there may be things out there already. I like to wait until they're officially released before giving the lowdown, so we'll go through those when they come out. Fourth, costumes for classic heroes, which is Glass. I just don't quite understand this one. There's so many heroes that need costumes or need stat boosts that don't get them. And we can see in the update for the balance, December balance, we have some hero of the months are getting, some 20 or 30% increases to their damage and silly things like that. But yet we're still not having costumes for some of them. Here we are with the classic heroes getting a fourth costume when the Toon costumes are already extremely powerful. So we can see the new passive sorry, I'd usually edit that out, but let's just go with the blooper reel. I'd usually swear my head off when I do that sort of stuff. But here we go. New passive Glass grants 60% extra chance to reflect incoming set assailments back to the attacker. X4 costume bonus for legendary heroes, plus 65 attack, plus 65 defense, plus 70% health and 5% mana. Again, that just shows the insane power creep we've had over the years that, some of these heroes without these costumes would be so far behind. So, it's good. It makes them relevant. I think the Toons are probably strong enough at the moment without needing the fourth costume, but we won't dwell on that too long. The costume bonus for epic heroes, so it is good that they're doing this with some epic and rares as well. So we've got 19 attack, 19 defense, 24 health and 5 mana, and for the rare heroes, which will be the third costume, we've got 17 attack, 17 defense, 22 health and 5% mana. Legendary Glass costumes to be released straight up will be Vivica, Sartana, Richard and Aslar. Epic, Bold Tusk and Grim, Rare, Jahangir and Ganju. Now, really just going through this, obviously a lot of people do use the forums, but there's a lot of people out there that don't, so sometimes these updates come as complete shock and surprise to people. So yeah, hopefully this helps some people stay up to date with what's happening. So, and for that, make sure you're saving all your costume keys. So sort of there's no point using those in the meantime. This may be the next costume one anyway, but yeah, hopefully you've been saving them. Comes out Christmas Day, 25th, so could be some nice little Christmas presents there for us. We next move on to Shadows of the Deep event. So January the 9th, terrifying event to drive your heroes insane. We all have just learnt to love the Insanity through the Insanity Ancient Terror War. But we've got the Cultist and Investigator families that have that insane mechanic, so that would be good. We've got Shadow Summon, so new summon that includes Investigator and Cultist family heroes previously released via the Secret Summon, and no classic heroes. So I still get questions from people regarding those secret heroes in Insanity, people that had never seen an Insanity hero before. So yeah, they're now going to be released into a summon portal, and for each summoned legendary hero you get 3 bonus draws, each with a 20% chance to get another legendary hero. So anything they can do to increase the odds of getting multiple heroes is fantastic. I just wish they'd increased the overall percentage, especially for a lot of the cheap to play, free to play players. If you grab a couple at once, it's great, but you're probably not going to have all the mats and feeders etc required to sort of level it up really quickly anyway. So I would prefer the overall percentage to be increased and just give everyone a little bit more chance of getting one hero, let alone getting the second. But again, it is what it is. It's an improvement on what we used to have. Moving on to the Alliance Quest 3 Night of the Moth. So January 15th, for people who haven't, again, seen sort of beta vision and that type of thing, I believe these are the Moth heroes that will have the Mega Fiends, possibly. But again, I'll wait until they come out before we go over those heroes and their skills. So new event effect is Toxin Moths, and we have new bosses and enemies. New Alliance Quest summon, new family of the Moths, which is 6 legendary heroes. Satin Pimenta, Chunky Roy, Tilmon, Pepper Blue, Grovert, Mort Witch, and a couple of epic and a rare. I really do wish SG would just start helping me out with these names. Come on, just give us some common names. They don't all have to be tongue twisters. Lunar New Year, January 27th. Seasonal event with story and reward updates. Summon with 2 new heroes, Xiao King and Bei Shu. So again, if you have some tokens there, that could be a good way of saving those up using during that event. And we'll run through some improvements. And again, I haven't read through all these as yet, so I'm just giving you my sort of reaction as it happens. Dragment Shipment now has a tier indicator in the tooltip and in the reward screen for clarity. So I think that's just regarding the higher your raid arena is in Dragons, the better the shipments will be. So I think that's just sort of clarifying that and showing it clearly. New activity indicator now only shows up on the Dragon Spear button in Stronghold when there are idle loot chests ready to be picked up. So that was showing when a new quest, I think, popped up, or new map stages. So that's just a small change. Again, there's many other improvements we could be making, just really simple things. One thing I've always wanted to see is on the war screen, I feel it should give you the points that the enemy is worth without having to click on every single team. Again, something extremely simple that could be implemented, but here we are, years on, still hasn't been done. So it's great we make some of these improvements, but you know, I just wish we would focus on some things that are sort of more useful than others. I couldn't really care less when the little number popped up on the Dragon Spear button, to be honest, but that's what's being fixed. Improvements on Alliance War graphics on tall resolution phones. I haven't heard anyone mention that, but obviously it's been an issue. Improvements for Dragon Spear battle background movement. Again, doesn't seem overly important to me. I rarely even notice the background moving, and it makes no difference to me. I haven't heard anyone say, oh wow, that looks so cool. But again, that's what we're getting. Dragon Adventure Area 4 Duskfall status effect icon now shows current percentage. These are really just little nothings that hardly anyone probably would have noticed. Maximum dragon capacity now scales up. First cap increases at level 22 and then +1 every 2 levels. Level up screen now lists energy refills and dragon cap increases from Dragon Spear side after Dragon Spear has been unlocked. So again, I feel Dragon Spear is not being, from everyone I've spoken to, it's not being utilized much. I don't understand why we need dragon capacity. I presume that means we're going to see more new dragons released, and the ones out there that are getting those may need the extra space. So I personally don't think I'm anywhere near I haven't done many pulls. So anyway, into the fixes. Fixed an issue related to the treasure quest, featured families indicator. When sorting heroes by origin in hero roster, season 1 heroes are now displayed after season 2 heroes. Okay. Again, I don't understand why that would matter really. Fixed a visual issue that was causing Xenia's special skill text to not appear in battle. Fixed an issue where additional Path of Adventure chests were not automatically claimed after a path ended if there were no unclaimed. Fixed an issue where using a combination of speed ups and gems to skip a timer would cause a crash. And fixed an issue with Revna's Reflect status effect where it did not replace other reflects that affected ailments and stacks. Example, Hawthorne Ferdinand. So a lot of things there that are not relevant to anyone, but hopefully the main updates that we went through give you a good idea of what's coming up and what to keep an eye out for. And yeah, just please keep in mind, if you aren't opted into war, I say just go for it. We've got better rewards now, so if you can handle the frustration, these rules will also help, but better rewards, so you're just going to be helping yourself move along. Everyone who's hung around till now, hopefully you're not too bored of listening to me dribble on. As always, if you like what I'm doing, gently caress the subscribe button, give your kitty a scritch for me. And yeah, I really do appreciate the support. We're moving upwards near that 1,000 mark. I might be getting a little bit more sort of excited about that than I should, because I'm still a long way off, but no, I really do appreciate the support. Yeah, keep it going. Into the buffs for December. We have some family buffs here, so the Raven family and the Wolf family, and as we just seen, there are some costumes coming out for these for these heroes, which is possibly why we've given them some sort of boost. So the old family bonus used to be 35 or 50% chance to make a cast ailment uncleansable for 2 and 3 members if you had 2 or 3 of the same family. We've now just added a class there for one hero, so if you get a hero by itself, it's got a 20% chance to make a cast ailment uncleansable. And the Wolf family is basically the same, except for buffs as opposed to ailments. So yep, great, very small change, but gives that one hero a small chance of doing something if it's in a team by itself. Cornell has had a heal over time added, so the caster now regenerates 600 HP over 3 turns. That just gives her a bit of extra. It's going to be interesting with the costume coming out. The costume obviously will upgrade those stats heaps, so Cornell has quite a decent special, and that just gives her a bit of that survivability to hang around a little bit longer. So good change there. Wolfgang, delayed health boost replaced with health boost over time. So the old one was after 4 turns, the caster boosts health of all allies by 600, and the new one is all allies regenerate 720 over 4 turns. So I think that's a fantastic change. I used to use Wolfgang a heap. I love damage dealers with heal. He also has a bit of protection to take less damage. So again, the costume will make his stats relevant, and anyone that's got him maxed and gets the costume, that's fantastic. If you're still using him, I think this is just a bit better chance to give you some regenerated boosted health, as opposed to sitting there for 4 turns and having the enemy dispel it. Yeah, so good changes there. Again, there's so many other heroes that could do with them, but we won't dwell. Classic and Winter family costume bonuses. So change costume bonus, increase per ascension level to be more linear for Classic and Winter families. Not really relevant, I don't think. We're seeing some stat increases here for some reasonably new heroes. Regin, Ott, Gander. Not sure why we need it. And again, it just seems so petty to be spending time giving people, 8 extra attack, 8 extra defense, and 30 odd health. It is what it is. If you've got those heroes, that's great. They're all new heroes. They don't really need it. And it just seems like effort for a very small change. The one that is good is Delofula, who now has a direct heal added. In my review, if you haven't seen my review, go check that out. I did mention that that hero seemed quite underpowered. So we've now added a direct heal, which is a 30% heal for all allies, and the ward damage has increased. So the ward damage reduction has increased from 820 to 1200. So just gives you far more protection and extra heal. That makes that hero infinitely better than it was, and I don't understand why it was released the way it was. Again, I may point out some negatives. I'm also pointing out the positives. But that to me is just a huge failure. I know mistakes happen, but anyone that has an understanding of the game and the developers, etc., doing these hero releases should understand the game. It was just ridiculous. So anyway, Gunctus, another reasonably new hero, getting a tiny little stat boost. I'm happy with that one, as I do have Gunctus. Again, not overly required, but that's great. Swiftpaw, direct damage increase from 480 to 540. So that's great. And then we can see some increases for December Hero of the Months. Perseus, 405 to 455, the costume. So they're basically getting 50% there. Evelyn, an extra 30%. Grimble, an extra 30%. Probably doesn't make him overly relevant still. A little bit of extra damage. He's still great for removing most minions, but he's a little bit underpowered now. Hanitra is getting a health boost on dodge, increase from 375 to 425. Again, it seems almost pointless. Balua, a lot of these heroes are not used very regularly, maybe in the lower levels and that type of thing, but it just seems a bit of a waste of effort to go, 500 to 530% bit of extra bleed damage for Balor, Liadria, special skill damage buff increase from 20 to 25%, and we're getting a mechanic update on corrosive effects. So all corrosive effects now deal extra damage against minions and mega minions. Previously only the corrosive burn of the Nidavellir Realm heroes did so. And we can see the affected heroes: Asterius, Atlantia costume, Crystallis, Dark Lord costume, Domi-Ventus costume, Ferris, Gwyn, Jabberwock costume, Persa costume, Rumpelstiltskin costume. I love me a bit of Rumple, but he's just a bit... Scoria, Skarn, Tenebrae, and Ingolf as an epic. And then they hope the above adjustments will help you field these heroes in a wider range of situations. But yeah, if you feel a hero needs a buff, head on over and tell them. I presume they just get so many, and they can only pick a few here and there, I guess. But yeah, I think there's definitely some better updates they could be making. But anyway, there we go. That actually turned into quite a long video, so I do apologize, but I just want to make sure I'm trying to bring as many updates as possible to make sure you're all aware of what's happening in the game, which therefore helps your playing experience.